for staying with us on the morning show on Tobago Updates. I am Adanna Combie, and of course, in studio, we have our guest with us this morning. As I said, we have Miss Debra Cook Warner, and let me tell you something about this lady. She has been practicing for over 44 years in the healthcare industry, right? And she has been, she's a registered nurse, 14 years as a licensed midwife, 10 years community service as a health visitor and district health visitor. And she's a breastfeeding counselor, which is what we're going to be talking about this morning, the importance of healthy breastfeeding, right? Also, we have in studio with us Miss Akilah McLetchie. She's a registered nurse and she's also a breastfeeding counselor. And we're going to be talking about, as I said, the importance of healthy or safe breastfeeding as we are in the week of World Breastfeeding Week 2023. So
Yes.
welcome, guys, to the program.
Thank you. Good morning to the viewing public.
Right. So tell us a little bit about, I didn't even know that there was something called Breastfeeding Week, right? And so I want to know a little bit more about it, Tell me what is it about? What are we trying to promote? And where do we start?
So World Breastfeeding Week is celebrated across the world from the 1st of August to the 7th of August. It is a week where we have activities. We highlight the importance of breastfeeding. We encourage mothers to breastfeed, and we bring awareness to the community, to the mothers, because breastfeeding is important to mothers, it's important to the community, and it's important to the general public as a whole. Right? So it's celebrated every year. The theme this year is enabling breastfeeding, making a difference with working women. So the theme this year focuses on the working woman. Right? We want to encourage mothers to breastfeed, even if they're at work. Right?
How does this work out though? Like what is the idea behind encouraging? Because I know sometimes it's a challenge. Sometimes we have to express and bottle feed. But you're saying that the preference is really breastfeed, the actual physical breastfeeding. So what is the idea behind getting working mothers? Because if I'm out work between 8 to 4 and my baby's probably in the daycare or, in somebody else's care, what is the idea or the genesis behind getting that to work? Because I know it's obviously going to be a challenge, right? So what are the ideas you have or the discussions you've had around that? I know that's the theme this year. So what are the discussions that they have?
So expressing, because you said expressing, so expressing the breast milk and feeding via the bottle is quite fine. And that is what we are promoting.
Okay, good.
Because we talk about exclusive breastfeeding for the first 6 months. So you could include express bottle feeds, right? And then you introduce your complementary feeds from 6 months onwards and encourage breastfeeding for a further 2 years and beyond.
Okay.
So we want in the workspace that employers give the employees opportunity, that break time, that paid break time, to express breast milk so they can store for their nursing babies, right? And also, we want them to facilitate the space, because it's not just about the time, we need the space.
Right.
We don't need a toilet to exit. You cannot express breast milk in a toilet.
And sanitary, right?
Yes. So we need the space, the environment, private environments, because you don't want other co-workers just intruding every minute, somebody coming in.
Right.
So you need a private space. So employers could facilitate employees with that.
So this is a wide conversation, or this is a conversation we need to have with the employment society in Trinidad and Tobago, because you really want to provide that level of comfort and safety, because as you said, you don't want to have a space like a common area where everybody can access, because you really do need that privacy as well. So both of you are breastfeeding counselors. Tell me a little bit about that practice and what is expected. What do you do as a breastfeeding counselor? What can I express as a breastfeeding mother from a breastfeeding counselor?
So we do training. So we are currently in the process of becoming baby friendly. And when we say baby friendly, it means that the hospital promotes only breastfeeding. Now we know that there are some mothers who may not be able to breastfeed, but the aim is to get as much mothers as possible so the rates could go up, because we know of the benefits of breastfeeding, critical, very important benefits, not only to the baby, but also to the mother and the community, as I said earlier. Now, the aim is to become baby friendly. And when we say baby-friendly, it means an institution that promotes breastfeeding. With this, we follow a 10-step. So the 10-step are the steps that will guide you towards becoming baby-friendly, right? In order to do this, we have to first have a policy, which we are currently working on, and we must train a person. So the 10-step guides us into becoming baby-friendly, right? There's also antenatal care, because you know that we have to educate the mothers during that period of time, right? There's also parts that has to do with the hospital. So we encourage mothers to initiate breastfeeding within the first hour of life, and we know that when we initiate breastfeeding within the first hour of life, the possibility of you continuing breastfeeding is enhanced, right? The aim is to increase the breastfeeding rates in Trinidad and Tobago to 50% by 2025. Currently, it's under 40%.
What?
Yes.
And I think that breastfeeding your newborn is like that opportunity for like that type of bonding.
That's
with
one
the
of the
baby.
major benefits.
So it's alarming to hear that the breastfeeding rate is under 50%.
Yes, it's
You know, I find it to be very strange, because that's one of the things that you look forward to. But I think generally as a new mom.
Right.
What about moms who are not producing? Right? How do you, and like in terms of counseling, how do you talk them through it? How do you help them through it? What kind of advice do you give them? Are there things that they can do to start producing the milk for the baby?
So one of the key areas is providing support and building a woman's confidence.
Right.
A lot of times they lack confidence because they don't get the support. So support is key with breastfeeding. Breastfeeding is not only just putting the baby to the breast, but the mother has to be comfortable and she has to be supported. So the nurse who might support her, the family, especially when she goes back into her home, she needs a supportive family. And then we have supportive groups, right, that will encourage the breastfeeding and boost her confidence so that she's willing to breastfeed. Yes, there are some mothers who would not produce milk, and various reasons, right? But we encourage her, and by the time we continue to do the supportive care and we educate her, we stimulate the breast, and we continue to do things to really stimulate the breast and get the milk, then it works. But there are some times that we will have to supplement.
Right.
The aim is to get her to exclusive. Now, we spoke just now a little while ago that you notice that the rates go down, and we would like to have more babies exclusively breastfed, but it goes back to the workspace. So we have 3 months leave, maternity leave. 1 month is taken before she delivers,
Yes.
and then 2 months after she delivers. Now, we want exclusive breastfeeding up to 6 months, but she has to go back to work. And most of the time when she goes back to work is when you will have the not stopping the breastfeeding. And that's why we want to encourage this topic. Supporting the breastfeeding within the workspace. You provide the area, small area, don't have to be anything fancy, but must have a fridge, place to wash your hands, a little fridge where you can store your milk when you express, and that kind of thing, and then we will have the rates going up.
Yeah, because I know a lot of mothers have to end up weaning their babies off to get in preparation to get to work. Some people are lucky to have a little bit more time, but the 2 months, that's a very short time. It's not, that's correct, it's not sufficient at all, and it really is a challenge. So I will support that. I am rallying for a space to be created for breastfeeding mothers so that they can express their milk and have it ready for their babies for breastfeeding. So is there anything you want to say in closing to our population? I'm talking about the breastfeeding week, anything in general as it relates to breastfeeding. Any closing remarks?
So for breastfeeding week, we want to encourage the employer to support the mothers. One of the things is that the workspace is 50% or more is female dominated.
Yes.
So in the childbearing age, so we want to really provide that space and create the support, provide a supportive environment where women would be able to breastfeed. Over the week, within the next couple of weeks, we will be going around to the different workspaces to sensitize employers and the employees so they know their rights.
Right.
Yes.
Well, I like the public education aspect of it because, of course, people need to be involved as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been speaking with our breastfeeding counselors, our healthcare practitioners, as they tell us a little bit more about the importance of breastfeeding and how to facilitate this in the workspace. Ladies, we thank you so much for joining us this morning, and we look forward to so much more on this topic. Guys, we're going to go to a break, but before we go to a break, of course, we're going to be coming back with our guests, Girls with Roots. But before we go, we are, of course, asking you to do what? Share the live, share the live, share the live.